I know what you're thinking. Is a one-armed man still dangerous? Let's see about that. Welcome back to Forest Firearms, everybody. Once again, I'm back. I'm Ivan. And today, we're going to be taking a look at a classic revolver. To some of you, it may not seem classic, but to someone my age, it's definitely a classic revolver. It's a model 649. And I'm going to go through why I carry this pistol versus some of the more modern semi-automatics on the market today. Okay, as you can see, we'll get a little bit of pretty viewership on this thing. I believe this is from the 80s. I'll show you guys a serial number. Some of you guys know exactly what you're talking about, so you can tell me. But this is a derivative of the original Model 38, or the Bodyguard, that was produced in the 50s and the 60s. And what differentiates this little J-frame Smith & Wesson from most of the little J-frames that you see on the market, especially throughout the years, is it has a protected hammer that you can still cock and shoot single action with. Now, a lot of you guys might be, you might know the Chief Special, or I think they call it the Model 36. It's basically this pistol, but it does not have a concealed hammer or an internal hammer. It has a traditional hammer that just sticks out. And for the most part, these guns, people think about carry permits today, where we have all these small guns like the Glocks and the SIGs and the Kimbers and stuff like that. But what people don't realize is nowadays we have carry permits. Pretty much for the last 100 years, pretty much, a gun like this was something for like an officer, a detective, a bad guy, someone who was trying to conceal a firearm. For a long time, we didn't have as many carry permits, or if any carry permits, and so yes, some people had stuff like this for their own protection, but usually not carrying them. So a pistol like this was really meant for usually like a detective or an officer of some sort, a backup gun, especially in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, where revolvers ruled the day. So like I said before, there was complaints about how upon drawing the Model 36 and even like the Colt Cobra or the Detective Special, its hammer would get caught. So then Smith & Wesson came up with this design, and people say it's the ugliest Smith & Wesson ever made. I'm kind of weird. I think it looks pretty cool. They call it the camel hump or the humpback, and whatever you want to call it, it's a great pistol. So I'm going to kind of open this thing up and let you guys look at the markings on the inside, if you can see that. Our camera isn't that great, but you can see it's a Model 649. The 6 at the beginning of a serial number says that it's stainless. The 49, I believe, is the fact that it is a all-steel gun instead of having an aluminum alloy or aluminum frame that a lot of these had, and a lot of them still have. But that's where the 6 comes from. And here's some more markings. Some of you Smith & Wesson gurus can tell me all about it. Also, here's the serial number, probably better, on the butt. I would love if you guys could tell me what date this was made, because as far as I can tell, it came with the original box and all that stuff, and from what I can tell, I think it's 80s, because it's not recessed, it's not pinned, but it doesn't have any of the upgrades, and I believe that the AFN is kind of an 80s range of serial numbers, but I could be wrong, so let me guys know. It also does not have the key lock, like you see those stupid key locks that are on the modern Smith & Wessons. But for a little Smith & Wesson, now, as you guys can see, it is just 5 shots. Now, that was one negative factor of the J-frame Smith & Wessons versus the small Colts of the same size, because the small Colts were almost always 6 shots. Like, let's say the Cobra, the Detective Special. There's all sorts of different police positives that people would cut down, and fit special stuff, and they're almost always 6 shots. But with the 5-shot, you get a little smaller package, and what a lot of people say, if it ain't going to get done in 5 shots, it might not get done, especially with a gun like this, because this isn't a gun that you carry that you're wanting to get in a massive police style or movie style firefight. This is a purely get off me gun. So As you guys might know, I used to carry a small Kimber Micro 9, and I didn't have any problems with that gun. But at the end of the day, I didn't like the safety aspect of it. I didn't like how the safety worked. I didn't really like carrying around in the chamber, which is a big no-no with a gun like that. People in the defense community say, what are you doing carrying a gun without one in the chamber? And it doesn't have a beaver tail safety, and the safety on it is it was easily switched off. So I kind of sat down and I thought, you know, I love revolvers. Not only is it nostalgia, it's like as some millennials might know, it's a fidget spinner for men. But I'm thinking 5 shots, and as I'll show you, speed loaders, there's speed strips like from Bianchi and stuff. And this is all I personally need in a carry gun. I know it's gonna go bang. Even today's the first day I shot it. I pulled the trigger, boom, it went click, after making sure nothing crazy happened. If that was a defense situation, you pull it again and it goes bang. So you always at some point can get a round out. And also, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but with a small semi-auto, if you're in a close bad breath fight, close distance situation, people tend to push their guns up against each other and try to pull the trigger, and you can either induce a malfunction, or you could pull the gun out of battery. But with a revolver, you can push this gun straight on someone. Yes, guys, it's empty. You can push the gun straight onto somebody, pull the trigger, and it vastly improves the effectiveness of that round, because you are effectively making the other person's body a part of the barrel, and you're going to have a lot more gases and pressures released within the person. So, you know, this might seem antiquated, but also I used to carry a Glock 19, and it was so big I wouldn't find myself carrying it as much as I should have. It's not always about the gun that you carry. Well, I normally carry a Glock 19. A gun like this you always carry. So yeah, it's 5 shots, but I am always going to have it on me because it's nice and light. Okay, guys, that was a little bit of a to delve into maybe the concealed carry thought process of this firearm, but let's just see. You guys might have seen these speed loaders before and maybe never used them. This is just a one of the kind of older fashioned styles. It's not one of those fancy newfangled ones that you push. What it is you put it in there, let gravity be your friend. You turn that and it releases your bullets. You give it a little shake. They come out. Now you're loaded. And let's just fire 5 more. I'm gonna go double action first, which, keep in mind, guys, I haven't shot this gun very much, so we'll see if I miss. I missed one at the beginning. Okay, good enough. I'm gonna go to single action, as you can see. Nice, crisp, light trigger pull. You know, you never know if you might want to cock it. A gun like this is mainly for double action, but I don't mind having the option. And as you can see, you know, the little 38 special in this gun, it is snappy, completely manageable. And an older gun like this, you know, it's not plus P rated, but even in the manual, I read in the original manual that came with this, as long as you're running a full steel one, they said that you could use plus P if the need arises. So basically, I would carry this in a plus P and expect it to survive 6 rounds, but I'm not going to practice and shoot 100 rounds of plus P through it like I would with a semi-auto to make sure that they function. With a gun like this, it's a revolver. It's going to feed what you put in it. You're not going to have to worry about any kind of feeding problems. So, also, you know, you kind of wonder, where does this come into, you know, kind of the historical firearms aspect of what we normally do? And like I said, this is not a new gun. This is a concept from the 50s. But it might be kind of hard to understand the size difference of the traditional old battlesmiths. And let's come look at it. So right here is Thomas's, gorgeous. Model 17, 1917, Smith & Wesson. And it's the old real deal, the old vintage. And you can see, just in my hands, how big a pistol like this was. And to be honest, a lot of cops were carrying stuff that maybe wasn't this big, but were carrying 38 specials and guns that were not as small as you might think they are. They're pretty large compared to a little J-frame. Well, you can see the size difference of this little J-frame compared to a 1917. And the 1917, I'm not sure what the actual technical frame designation size would be.
N frame.
Is it an N frame? Okay. So N frame versus J frame, that's quite a difference, you know, from the back. But a lot of guns, a lot of cops are carrying something a little smaller than this, but they were carrying, you know, stuff like police positives, official polices, Smith & Wesson M&P Model 10s. And this was a really nice something that you could buy from the factory. Really nice gun that you could buy from the factory that was something that a detective or someone or a plainclothes officer or even a regular officer could have as a backup, and you still had a little bit of fight in you. If any of you guys are wondering, here's a 45 ACP moon clip. Here's a 38 special. I believe these are 230 grains. This is 158 grain. And if any of you guys people want to know, that is the size difference. Okay, well, as you can see, you can shoot double action. I've shot a couple shots single action. I'm going to step back just a little bit. I'm not expecting to get a lot of hits, but I'm going to step back to something that is not traditionally a combat range. And we are going to do a couple shooting. Just a couple rounds. Okay. I know this is kind of a long video, but you guys haven't seen me in a while. Let's just see if I can hit it. It's getting kind of dark and rainy out here, but let's just give it a try. Oh, shot a little high, seen it. Let's bring it back down. There it is. Now, I don't know if I'm going to hit double action, but I'm going to give it a go. Oh, there's one. Oh, pulled it a little fast. I'm out. Let's just throw 5 more in and then I'll send you guys off. Also, some of you guys might have seen that picture or the video of that execution that happened in Vietnam between that one Vietnamese general and the the Viet Cong prisoner or person that had killed his family. He was using basically this gun in a Model 38. So let's just go for a couple more. Actually, I'm not going to waste too many shots. Let's just go up closer and send you guys off. Okay. So there's a quick look. You guys will probably see more of this. I'm going to do some more accuracy testing when I get more used to it. But this is the Smith & Wesson Model 649. And it's been working great. I'll see you guys next time on Force Firearms.